WP Communications are at Cyber Week and we're meeting with the latest and greatest in cyber tech.
Hi there, my name's Gregory. I've been in the security market for 20 years. Been at NetScout for 8 of those years. They're the leaders in packet visibility security and trying to help customers stay ahead of the new risks that are on the networks, get their head around the complex environments and get ahead of the new risks quickly. And one of the big ways we differentiate is in incident response. So the attack surface is moving. The threat actors are innovating with tools and AI to kind of catch unsuspecting customers out, and it kind of just creates more need for more security tools, more automation, more response to get ahead of the risks. Packet-based visibility, getting to that truth quickly, but also using smart detection. So taking traditional techniques of IOCs and IPS type of ways to get ahead of threats and do smart detection quicker, and also just work with the other security tools. So customers have kind of got an evolving security stack. They need to leverage that and then sometimes pivot onto the network perspective of the risks and just solve the problems fast and collaborate with the tools and the teams.
What are some of the trends and hot topics?
Hot topics, obviously AI is a big conversation piece in the market, both from the threat actors writing new emails and phishing attacks, but also users using it inadvertently and then leaking intellectual property. So the AI is a bonus, and it's also a risk for companies. So AI is probably the big hot topic where they're looking at and how it affects them.
Thanks very much for your time today, Brian.
No, thanks, Will. It's a great show. It's UK Cyber Week.
Thank you.
So I'm James, CEO of Appella AI, and we're using AI, conversational AI, to stop scams and spam calls for businesses.
What brings you to Cyber Week?
Yeah, so I mean, we're here to learn about latest trends. There's been a lot of really good keynote discussions going on at the theatre, also speaking to other cybersecurity experts, seeing how they're tackling the latest trends in fraud, and also speaking to potential customers, of course, and seeing how, learn about their pain points and see how we can use our AI technology to help them and solve their problems.
And what are some of the trends and predictions that you're seeing in the industry as you've been attending this event over the last couple of days?
Yeah, well, there's been huge talks actually about the dangers of AI being used by fraudsters, and then now continuing to use voice cloning through the whole process. And they're trying to figure out how do we adapt to this new change in types of fraud. And at Appella, we believe it's actually using AI ourselves, fighting AI with AI, essentially.
Eddie, really nice meeting you at Cyber Week.
Morning, nice to meet you too.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your company?
Here at AppCheck, we provide an automated penetration testing platform. So we're helping organisations thoroughly test their web applications, APIs, network and infrastructure targets. The idea being we want organisations to be as secure as possible, be able to regularly test their most valuable assets and ensure that they're covering every attack surface. So we're here today talking to everyone who's coming through about what we do here.
So what are some of the challenges that your customers are facing right now?
Yeah, so typically the price of manual pen testing has been very, very high. You also, with a manual pen test, you tend to get that like once or twice a year. With AppCheck, we want you to regularly test throughout the year at a more feasible price. So it's helping organisations regularly test, bringing the price down a little bit. We never discourage manual testing. We still think it's something that organisations should do. Yeah. But in between those manual tests, performance and regular scanning is what we encourage.
If you look into the future, what are some of the predictions, some trends that you're seeing in cyber right now? How do you think it's going to shape the future?
Really good question. A lot of cloud security. So more and more organisations are moving into the cloud and hosting, their infrastructure in the cloud.
Awesome. What regions are you operating in?
In the UK currently, we do offer our services in countries like South Africa and things like that as well, and across Europe. It tends to be mostly UK based. We're a totally UK based company. All of our software was developed and maintained here, and it tends to be, we offer a support team as well as our platform. So it tends to be that the support in the UK, works well with the UK companies.
Awesome. Eddie, thanks very much for your time.
Great, thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
thank you very much for having me. It's lovely to be here. My aim is to shock you all and scare you all into thinking about how AI can be abused by bad actors. So a fraudster no longer needs to make a phone call. They don't need to use their voice. It can all be done through deepfake. They can find vulnerable companies using a ChatGPT model. They can get hold of mule accounts from the dark web, again using an AI learning model. So it allows fraudsters to commit a zero-touch fraud. They don't have to get involved, and they can make fraud, and they can be sitting thousands of miles away and committing multiple frauds simultaneously, all through blended AI models.
This is how campaigns are built. They start with reconnaissance. Find out about your target. If your target is a country, find out about society in that country. Find the points of weakness. Find where you can stick your crowbar to have the greatest effect. If you want to create polarization and fissures within that society. Reconnaissance is part one. Creation of content and building the infrastructure to disseminate that content. Part two, all very human driven, and then you publish the content, you make sure the content gets distributed, hopefully you create engagement. There's a thing called Troll Patrol where the people responsible for the disinformation will go and actively interact with it, put people with sticks online and get them to interact as well, to drive engagement with the content and amplify it, and then hopefully at the end, actualization, you make a difference in society. Just imagine how AI will superpower all of that stuff. Content creation, easy. Publication, amplification, troll control, automated. Creation of an army of online fake persona with credible, real, believable backgrounds to publish, to interact. People that have a credible backstory, not a bot that was created yesterday, or if it was created 3 months ago and used to speak Chinese and now suddenly speaks English. You can create and automate all of that.
Yeah, so we are a startup threat intelligence company. So we're tracking the behaviours of attackers in the wild to create activity-driven threat intelligence, and more importantly, we're giving examples of that as well. Quite a lot of vendors in the industry focus around giving lots of threat intel, like markers and indicators, which is great and all, but we're focusing on context behind our intel. So what sort of threats are targeting a certain industry or a certain type of tech stack, a certain type of technologies and CVEs. So we're providing that as that's all relevant to our customers. We've just launched our beta program, so we're looking for people to join us on our testing our product we've built so far. So we're building a platform that allows analysts to dive deep into how attack chains perform, right from start to from reconnaissance to how they're getting in and exploiting things. Are they maintaining persistence? How are they doing that? And then are they pivoting to the systems? So we're looking to get people on board to start testing all those things for us.
Yeah, so I'm the head of business development at NetZero now, and quite simply, we are a climate action platform. Carbon accounting hasn't been around for that long, so it's evolving all the time. And companies don't really know where to start, and there's also a lot of fear about doing it wrong and being accused about greenwashing. So this is really designed to simplify that whole process for them and not make it challenging, but really make it easy for them and enable them to get started and do more about their environmental impact. So just getting started can be a challenge for these companies. So the way in which we're different is we tackle this on a sector by sector basis. Traditionally, carbon accountants have a sort of one-size-fits-all approach, so they'll treat any business in the same way. Whereas from our perspective, every business is different. You know, if you're a hospitality business, if you're an airline, or if you're a tech company, your sources of emissions are very different to each other. And so you need to tackle that and approach it in a different way, which is why we have sector initiatives for each industry. So in tech, in accountancy, and so on. And then our online platform that companies use, that is actually set up to reflect the initiative for that sector, so that when companies work with us, they know that they're actually capturing all the data that's relevant for them, and they're having a strategy that is actually bespoke and tailored to them as well. It may seem like quite daunting to get started, but actually right now, while regulations are still being tightened, there's an opportunity to have a first mover advantage and be a real leader in this area. And we're seeing huge success with companies that are taking that step early and jumping in and measuring their emissions, setting reductions targets, and actually implementing these plans and becoming, we'll call them better businesses at this point in time. So there's a real opportunity right now for companies to do more and differentiate themselves. Once the regulations tighten and all companies have to do this, that opportunity is gone, and you're all going to be treated in the same way. So right now is the real time to get the most out of things.